Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be talking about the new Union Force, completely revamped for 2024. I rode this binding at Copper Mountain on a day that was sunny, bluebird, slightly warmer temps, zero wind, you had chopped chunder, slush, and even a little leftover pow in the trees, and I rode it on my Ride Shadowband snowboard with my K2 Thraxis boots. So let's talk about the adjustability on this binding. You have two set screws to move the heel cup in and out so you can actually lengthen or shorten that depending where your boot sits in the chassis. The toe ramp can also be slid forward or backwards underneath that boot to help center it. With the toe strap, you have a pin system so you can push down, pull back, move it forward, move it backwards. The heel strap also has the ability to move forward or backwards depending on where you want it to be placed. That is also tied to the high back rotation on this binding. When it comes to lengthening or shortening the straps, you have a twist cam on the toe and a pin system on the heel. Finally, with the high back, you also have the forward lean adjustment. So flip it down, slide it up, slide it down, give you a little bit more forward lean on the fly. So let's talk about the toe strap here. It is very minimal and it does have a smaller cutout. Some people are gonna wonder how that's gonna fit certain boot shapes. With my boot, I didn't have an issue. I do think that there probably are some out there that will have it. One thing to note is that right out the box, it needed to break in. It took about a half a day for it to kind of stretch and feel a little bit more comfortable. After that, non-issue. Now, with that said, do you rock it over the top or over the toe? It feels like this is actually designed to be rocked over the top instead of like a toe cap. Personal preference there. I don't know, your call on that one. With the heel strap, you have what Union calls molecular padding, which is very minimal padding, meaning your boot is going to provide everything for you. With that said, it does have a decent cutout to fit over the instep so that it does securely contour over that boot. Now, you do have a spine through the middle to give a little bit more rigidity. It is on a pin placement system, and I do believe over time these might break down. That's just my 2 cents on it. Overall, the strap is solid, it feels secure. It actually doesn't even feel like you have a heel strap on, you just have this natural flex going right through your instep, driving that power, so that is kind of a nice thing. I had some issues with the toe ratchet lining up with the ladder and actually climbing. After it started to break in, that issue went away. I just want people to be aware of that right out the box. Now, with that said, the ratchets work exactly how you'd think. They're able to be torqued down and they grip. The one finger quick release on the toe and the heel works exceptionally well. I never had any issues with these slipping or anything. They just felt dialed. Overall, not too worried about this high back. It just does high back things. The overall flex of this binding comes in at just a hair past middle of the road. It does have freestyle machinations, so don't expect this to be like an overly powerful binding, but it has power where you need it. The straps have that give in them, and when you need a little drive, it's there. Otherwise, you can just butter play around and be a little bit loose when you need to. You do lose some of the lateral play in this binding just because it does have a bigger disc to it. That's fine. It's good in my opinion. All these mini discs out there that are just making the bindings just too loose underfoot, this actually provides some lateral drive to it. Like I said, just past the middle of the road, straps have a little bit more give, but power when you absolutely need it. It's not the most damp binding out there, and that's fine. It's lively where it counts. Micro vibrations, totally going to absorb them. You're not gonna feel them as much as you would with other bindings, but if you set down hard off a side hit or you come off a feature and you really just crank down, that's when you're absolutely going to feel things with this binding. So who's this binding for? It's the all mountain freestyle guy that's gonna do a little bit of everything. This isn't a bad binding, and in fact, in my opinion, it's a right move for the Force in the lineage that it has. It differentiates itself from the Force Classic. With that said, out the box, there's some minor issues that I had that as the day went on, they seemed to dissipate. The only thing was that I did feel where the ratchet connects, the plastic would push a little on my pinky toe. That's fine. The binding would have broken in. I probably would have forgotten about it. As I rode this binding more throughout the day, I just forgot that it was even there. It just felt like a binding I have used 100+ days. It was secure, it gave power when I needed it, and it was playful. I do like the fact that it has a bigger disc underfoot. That bigger dead spot does help with power transmission. Binding recommendations: the Ride C8, the Rome DoD, the K2 Bond. This has been my review of the new Union Force. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Are you gonna buy a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really wanna support us further and just see us improve a few things around here, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.